Hi guys, welcome to week 6. As you know, I am out of town this week at my graduation for graduate school from the Erickson Institute. And this week you're going to progress through a series of screencast PowerPoint presentations on physical growth and development and cognitive development in the early childhood years. This is my first time using this software for this purpose, so please be patient. As I figure this out, I'm sure I will stumble on my words a few times. But thank you for being patient. So first we'll look at the young child's body and how the brain grows and changes over time. For height and weight, an average, typically developing child grows 2.5 inches a year and gains between 5 and 7 pounds a year. So what factors might make a child unusually small for their age? Congenital factors can make a child small. Prematurity or low for birth weight can also make a child small. And a growth hormone deficiency could also lead to a child growing slowly or a child being small. The brain is so fascinating, and we have spent a lot of time talking about the brain, and we will continue as we progress talking about the brain as we go. By age 6, the brain is at 95% its adult weight. That's crazy. By age 6, 95% of its adult weight. Dopamine increases from age 3 to 6, and this really helps support concentration. And then during the early childhood years, there's also rapid growth in the frontal lobes, and the frontal lobes are the areas of the brain that are responsible for planning actions, organizing new actions, and maintaining attention to tasks. And so it makes sense that as dopamine increases, attention and concentration also increases, and the part of the brain that's responsible for maintaining attention to tasks also grows rapidly. It makes sense. And then from 6 to puberty, which we will talk more about when we talk about middle and late childhood, but just know that from 6 to puberty, there, I stumbled on my words, the temporal and parietal lobes grow rapidly. Increasing brain maturation contributes to changes in cognitive abilities. And we will talk more about this when we get to middle and late childhood. All right, so let's talk about motor skills. We'll talk about gross motor and fine motor, and consider young children's artistic drawings. So gross motor, gosh, if you have a 3-year-old or work with young children, you know that they like to move constantly. Adults can support motor development by increasing fundamental movement or locomotion skills, providing plenty of opportunities for children to run and hop and skip and climb. Daily fitness opportunities, children need plenty of opportunities to move their bodies every day. And then paying close attention to perceptual motor tasks, things where they are having to connect hand-eye coordination, things where they're having to really understand their body in relation to space. It is appropriate that parents, caregivers, and early childhood professionals design and provide developmentally appropriate activities that support the development of gross motor activities. Opportunities to explore the outdoors, play games and sports really help fulfill a young child's desire to move and be active. The progression of fine motor skills can be observed through their drawings, and Rhoda Kellogg collected samples of children's art and drawings from all over the world and found that the progression of artistic abilities were relatively similar when considering the age of a child, meaning that many 2-year-olds from all over the world engage in basic scribbles. Many 2 to 3-year-olds are working on the placement of their scribbles. 3-year-olds are beginning to form shapes. 3 and 4-year-olds are beginning to design and put their shapes together to create new designs. And 4 and 5-year-old children are beginning to use pictures of objects and drawings to represent things that are not present. And we're going to talk more about that when we talk about cognitive development in Piaget. All right, so we also need to consider how we keep children healthy. So we need to consider sleep, nutrition, exercise, as well as health and safety. Children aged 2 to 6 need about 13 hours of sleep each night, and some children experience sleep problems that can be troublesome and have an impact on overall development and health and well-being. Sleep problems can include nightmares, night terrors, sleepwalking, and sleep talking. And so if a parent notices that their child may be having some of those sleep problems, speaking with a pediatrician will be helpful. The pediatrician will have ideas on how to get into a regular sleep routine and how to hopefully resolve some of the sleep problems. Children also need an adequate nutritious diet to ensure optimal development. Children in the early childhood years need about 1,800 calories a day, and that includes greens, dairy, fruit and vegetables, and proteins. Exercise is also important for overall health and well-being, and young children need about 2 hours of physical activity each day. And remember, that doesn't have to be structured physical activity like we think of as exercise. It really just means get outside, run and play, or have opportunities inside for dancing and gross motor movement just to get them moving. You may be familiar with the 5210 campaign that's often sponsored and endorsed by many community organizations, including Head Start and the YMCA. 5210 states that children need 5 servings of fruits and vegetables each day, 2 or less hours of screen time, 1 or more hour of physical activity, and 0 drinks with added sugar. In the United States, now we're moving on to health and safety. In the United States, vehicle accidents are the leading cause of death among young children. So parents really play a very important role in keeping children safe and healthy by making sure that their environments are free from hazards, making sure that they are getting proper nutrition, because proper nutrition supports a good, healthy immune system. When chronic illnesses do arise, that there's access to health care, which access to health care can be a challenge for some, and making sure that children are getting what they need to stay safe and healthy. All right, so this will wrap up our discussion on motor development and health and well-being for this module, and we're going to move into now a screencast PowerPoint on cognitive development. And again, if you have questions about gross and fine motor, your text is a great resource. All right, thanks guys, and I'll see you again in just a minute.